I saw you looking at my table just then. Hang on a minute, get rid of that. Fons, would you kindly help me lift that over there? I'll be in a minute. They were looking. He was trying to look. Well, it's exciting, isn't it? 5 minutes. Okay, Daniel, would you like to come and give me a hand? And Ben, where's Ben? Right. Oh, better use my notes. You know, I'm a Christian because I asked Jesus to come into my life a long time ago. And that when I gave my life over to him, then I became a Christian. And to be the pastor of the church is best. It's best if you're a Christian. It doesn't work if you're not a Christian. But how many... What are you looking at me like that for? He's spooking me, this boy.
Too bright my heart.
Is it? Oh. How many here support football teams? Which one do you support?
Madrid.
Oh, Madrid, right. Okay. The thing is, when you go to a football match, do you sit quiet all the time? You shout about it, don't you? You shout about your team. Well, that's what I like to do about Jesus, because I'm in he's my team. I shout about Jesus. That's why I'm here, to do that. Anyway, you come and stand over there. Take your hands out of your pockets. Not long now. Anyway, when we're born, it's a great time of your life to be born. When you're born, you're a toddler. Nothing harms you. Mum and dad look after you. They make sure you get fed. They make sure you get looked after. Nice warm bed at night. And then as you get older, you start to go to school. And that's when you first meet what life is about, when you go to school for the first time. How many of you remember going to school for the first day, what that was like? Do you remember going to school for the first day?
No.
I remember it. I was terrified. Okay? Now, what happens then is, you see, we start to grow. We start to get bigger. But all these things that you meet in school, that you meet in your local football team, or if you play netball, or whatever it is you do, lots of things start to affect your life. Is that right? Do you think that's true? Yeah? And what happens is this. Let me just get my... Don't look. Do you know what that is? Yeah, do you want to put that on for me?
Okay.
Please. What's your name again? Daniel. Okay, and that's Ben. Okay, so what happens is, as we go through life, you know, how many of you... Let me tell you, when I was at school, one of the things I used to hate was, you know, in the playground, there'd be two of the most popular boys or girls in the class would want to start have a football game, so they would pick the teams that they wanted. So you would stand waiting, and they would pick, yeah, I want them. Have you done this before? Have you heard of this?
Yeah.
I think it's a horrible thing, because I was always waiting. I'm never going to get picked. Never going to get picked. And it used to be, they would say, oh, yeah, and then, oh, we'll have him, it's the last one. And I said, like that, shuffling onto the team, only because you were the last one. Well, that's what I would call rejection. These are sorts of things that happen to us as we're growing up. We get rejected by people, we get rejected by situations, we get rejected by teachers, we get rejected by our friends sometimes. And you know, what happens is, we take that rejection and we put it in our bag. You okay? And so we carry that with us for a while, you know, and we keep going back and forward to school, we keep going back and forward to the work. This isn't just for children, by the way, or young people. This is for all of us. Because I know some people that have carried rejection right from the day they went to school, and have carried it and never been able to get rid of it, and have always felt rejected. You've got to look at my notes now. Sometimes loneliness can make us feel rejected, can't it? You know, you can be lonely in a big crowd. You can be lonely in a school playground. You can be lonely at work. You can be lonely at university or school. Another thing that happens to us is that we start. Adults tend to think that children don't worry about anything. Is that true? It isn't true, because they do. Children worry about a lot of things. And you know, the school playground is probably one of the most cruel places that you can be at times, because children, they don't mean to be that way. It's just children are developing their characters and their personalities, and so they exercise control over other children, and that's how they develop and all the rest of it. But children worry about things. They worry about things that go on in the world. They worry about things that go on in the family home, relationships. They worry about maybe aunts, uncles, mums, dads that are sick. They carry all this stuff, you know, and they just carry it because they don't know what to do with it. Maybe it's something. Maybe they worry about a disability they've got, and that can cause rejection as well. So they worry. So what happens is they take worry. And they carry worry around. You can walk up and down. Not too far, not too far. So they carry worry around in their rucksack. And so they carry on through life. They've got rejection. They carry in rejection, carry worry. And then there's that old thing. Do you know what I mean when I say peer pressure? Do you know what that means? That means if somebody in your group or in your class says, "You're no good if you don't come and steal something from a shop." That sort of peer, that means they want you to be like them. They don't want you to be they don't want you to be an individual. They want you to be like them. You're no good if you don't have this Xbox. You're rubbish if you're not picked for the football team. You want to be like me. I want you to be like me. That's what peer pressure is. Children worry about peer pressure, because peer pressure also is when somebody's got all the designer stuff. You get this? You got all this designer football stuff from Madrid, Real Madrid. And if somebody hasn't got it, they're no good, are they? They're not as good as you, are they? They need to be like you, don't they? They want to be.
Not really. I respect it.
Good, you're good. You weren't supposed to say that. Anyway, peer pressure. I love children, but I couldn't eat a whole one, okay? Peer pressure is another thing that kids carry around with them. And, you know, I keep saying this, but it's about adults as well. We're all the same, you know, we're no different. In fact, some children know better how to deal with these things than we do as adults. So you've got peer pressure. How's that? Is that okay?
Yeah. No more school bugs, have you?
You haven't seen what's coming. Another thing that happens in school, and may happen in your school, it may not, is bullying. That's a horrible thing, isn't it? You know, you could be a bully yourself, or you could be being bullied. But that's something that worries children, and it worries teachers as well, worries people in school. But it's something that I know some tragic stories of children who were bullied at school and who ended up taking their own life because they couldn't face up to it. They just could not get over it. Bullying is something else that we carry around. Bullying goes in the bag. How's that? Only a few more. So we've got rejection in there. We've got worry, concern about stuff. We've got peer pressures. We've got bullying. What about fear? How many of us are afraid of things? Afraid of heights, spiders, The dark?
No.
Of somebody beating Real Madrid?
No.
Fear of going to school because of all the other things I've just said? Fear is a big thing. And fear can really stop you doing well at school. If you're frightened or fearful of your friends or of the bully or of those that seem to be doing better than you, and they tell you they're doing better than you. What about fear of failing to do as well as your parents expect you to do? Is that a fear for some of us? A fear of letting your parents down? That you don't get the right exam results or you don't get the right test results? What about fear on the football field if you're a boy, or girl, playing football, and mum or dad or both are on the touchline shouting and telling you how disappointed they are you didn't play so well? Or if you're a girl playing netball or basketball, whatever, getting that in your ear. Fear of not meeting expectations is a big thing for some children. When you fear things like that, it can make you feel completely disabled, can't it? And so we have that. We carry that around with us, fear. These are only some of the things that our children have to deal with. There's loads and loads. If you Google what affects children's lives, you'll find hundreds and hundreds of different things. I'm picking out 5 or 6, okay? What about this then? What about feeling absolutely worthless? Have you ever felt like that? Where you felt you're no good? Because you're not good at football, because you're not good at netball or hockey or whatever it is, you feel absolute failure. Maybe you're not good at sums. Maybe you're not good at writing or whatever. It makes you feel dejected and rejected and worthless because you're not as good as the other boy or girl next to you. Does any of you ever have that? You ever feel that way sometimes when you're feeling a bit deflated, a bit let down because you haven't been able to achieve and you're feeling worthless and useless? Maybe you're not good at sport. Maybe everything you've tried, craft things or anything like that, maybe everything you've tried has not worked and it makes you feel worthless. That's something else that we carry around. How are we doing? You see, what happens is, now you walk up and down there, what happens is with this, that Daniel takes all those things into himself. He spends his life maybe carrying this around with him, and with lots of other, keep going. Walk up and down there so they can see how heavy it is. And he carries these things for the whole of his life, And, I know adults that are carrying those same things. Can you do some step-ups on there? Just step-ups. I know some adults who are carrying those same things, carrying them all through their lives. But you know something? There is good news. How are you doing then? You doing? How many have you done? How many step-ups? Couple, okay. Have a walk up and down there. But in the Bible, in the new part of the Bible, in the New Testament, there's a verse that I love, and it says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, whoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life. For God did not send his Son into the world to judge the world, but that the world through him might be saved." That you might not have to carry that thing. Okay? Do you understand? You with me?
Yes.
I'll read another version of that. It's from a Bible that's called The Message. It's in a sort of modern English. "This is how much God loved the world. He gave his Son, his one and only Son, and this is why, so that no one need to be destroyed. No one needs to be carrying that stuff. No one be destroyed. By believing in him, anyone can have a whole and lasting life. God didn't go to all the trouble of sending his Son Jesus merely to point an accusing finger, telling the world how bad it was. He came to help people like Daniel, to put the world right again. And anyone who trusts in Jesus, it says the word they use in this Bible is acquitted. That just means you're set free, okay? It means there's nothing against you. Now, what happens then, you see, this is where you come in, Ben. What happens is, this is Ben's Jesus, okay? So Ben gets hold of Daniel in a nice way, and he takes him up to the cross. I'll take the shortcut. And he says to Daniel, let me take this off you. And he takes it off Daniel, and he feels, and Jesus takes it on himself. You see, that's what happens. And so Daniel's free. Jesus died on the cross to take all those things off Daniel so Daniel could be free. Isn't that great? There is a good ending. There's more to come. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, here. Have this. This will just remind you of that Jesus died, but he rose, and that he rose again. You ready? That's for you. It's a little cross. And it's an empty cross, like this one. It's just that Jesus is not on the cross anymore. He's alive, and he's still doing this sort of thing for people. And there's adults here, I think, that need to hear this message as well, because they've been carrying these bags around for many, many, many years, more years than you would have carried. So thank you for your help. Thank you. Thanks.